So good day, Alexis.
Good day, Miss April.
So for today, as you can see in the PowerPoint and on the file in the laptop, it says that Chapter 2, the Royal House of Thebes. So last meeting, I've talked about the House of Atreus. Now I'll be sharing with you the story of the Royal House of Thebes. So Europa was followed by her brother named Cadmus, who traveled to Delphi. So for your information, Delphi was an ancient religious sanctuary dedicated to the Greek god named Apollo. You're familiar with Apollo? Okay, very good. To seek where he might locate her after she was dragged away by Zeus in the form of a bull. Apollo ordered him to quit looking for her and start building his city instead. So, this is Europa. Cadmus was the founder of Thebes. So, anang Thebes is a place. So, ni siya, the Royal House of Thebes. He sowed or planted the dragon seed into the ground. After all the brave forces and fighting men who arose and emerged from the ground had fought each other. So there are 5 men who remained, and those 5 men became his allies or alliance. Then he married the daughter of Ares and Aphrodite and introduced the alphabet to the Greeks. So Semele, this is Cadmus by the way. Cadmus. Then this is Semele.
What's the youngest?
Kaya diba, ang mga Greek kasi this is kaya mga weird man sila, mga formation. Then, mo ni si Semele or si Semele, who gave birth to Dionysus Ino. So, a wicked stepmother before being changed into a nymph. So, kuan siya, like, more siya witch ba, ang nymph. Kunya, person, at the same time, person. Okay. Then, Agave, who murdered her son Pentheus, and Autonomy, who watched her son die, where therefore unlucky daughter's Autonomy's son was turned into a deer while hunting, and she watched him turned apart by his dogs. Cadmus and his wife were turned into serpents in their old age for no apparent reason. So, as you can see in here, na weird kayo mga panghitabo kay first, kanang naay nahitabo, naay na-turn into bull, then naay nakuan, then here, kay nasay na-turn into deer. So, within Greek mythology kay, like, grabe dyan kayo ang mga mahitabo. Like, unexpected. Well, takaybaw, ikaw, di ko, apil ka sa Greek mythology, kakaybaw na, mahimo na di kag upok. Okay, next. What? King Laios was Cadmus. So, this is King Laios together with his wife, Jocasta. Was Cadmus' great-grandson and married Jocasta. So, one si King Laios and si Jocasta. The Delphi oracle informed him that his son would murder him. When his child was born, he sent it away to be abandoned. Many years later, a fearsome Sphinx invaded Thebes, posing a riddle to every tourist and killing him if he did not answer correctly. Oedipus was thought to be the son of another monarch, and he ran away from home because of the oracle said and told him that he would kill his father one day. So he arrived at Thebes and solved the Sphinx riddle by slaying it. He returned to the city and married the king's widow as a hero. So, dire kay as you can see, King Laios and Jocasta, and gi-inform sila sa oracle mo na like during that time oracle is very important. Because dito sila makahibaw ba if unsa ilang future. Then gi-inform siya na iyang i-betray siya sa iyang kaugalingong son. Next is excuse me. A dreadful plague. A dreadful plague swept the city as their sons grew older. He dispatched Crayon. So, Crayon is Jocastas' brother. So, panistika ni ang brother, wala ko yung photo, but like brother ni Jocasta, to Delphi in search of a cure for the disease. He returned and informed them that King Laius' assassin must be apprehended. Oedipus began his hunt with zeal. Laius had been murdered by Thebes on a route many years previously. Oh, wait. Previously. Only one of his servants made it out alive. Tiresias refused to say who the murderer was when Oedipus asked him. When he persuaded the blind prophet, he claimed that Oedipus, was the one who had killed him. He demanded to talk with the slave who had managed to escape the attack. Jocastus became agitated. Di ko kalitok. Oedipus' old home in Thebes was visited by a messenger who informed them that he had rescued in Thebes, and was visited by a messenger who informed them had wandering shepherd, and that the king of Corinth had raised him as his own. Oedipus instantly understood that he had slain his father and married his mother after the shepherd confirmed it. So, di ba? Incest, can you imagine? Iyang gi-married ang iyang kaugalingong mother. So, can you imagine, ikaw, imuhang ko anong si Daddy Ram?
No!
So, and Jocastus hanged herself, and Oedipus after blinded himself, better to remain in the world of blindness than to behold the old world that had been so bright with accumulated eyes. So, muna siya, di ba? Kana kayo siya kay... But, in Greek mythology, incest is not new man since kato pa lang si Zeus na he had a lot of affairs.
White peace.
Yes. Now, we will talk about Polynices and Eteocles. So, Polynices and Eteocles were Oedipus' son, and Ismene and Antigone were his daughters. So, Crayon, moni sila, then moni ang daughters, then ang sons ni Oedipus. Okay? As a guide, Antigone followed her father, then Polynices and Eteocles contested the throne. In another town, Polynices was assembling an army, and Antigone and Oedipus traveled to Colonos where Oedipus died. So, after Oedipus' death, Theseus received him and buried him. Then, before he died, Ismene visited him, and when the sisters returned to Thebes, they discovered the city in the midst of civil war. Polynices enlisted the help of 6 chieftains. The fight went on until the 2 brothers were killed in a duel. Only one of the 7 champions made it out alive. No one attacked Thebes would be burned according to Crayon. Then Antigone at the same time was taken aback when she learned that her brother Polynices was not to be buried. Crayon threatened all who disobeyed him with death. So, as they can see, Crayon was very powerful since kanang he can tell man na if kinsa mo disobey kay ihang patyon. So, the power he holds. Right? And despite this, buried her brother. Then Ismene begged Antigone to let her share the responsibility, but she refused, and Crayon had her assassinated. So, no family, walay family, no respect, or kung kinsa man kandira. If ever you disobey, then you're dead. So the final champion traveled to Athens and requested that Theseus help him force something like Theseus or Theseus help him force Creon to liberate the bodies. And Theseus would only do so if the population demanded it. To recover the bodies, Athens marched on the city. Then years later, the 7 champion son went to Thebes and defeated it once more. So in summary, or like a little trivia, so short trivia, unlike the house of Atreus, the house of Thebes is named after a city and not a person. Then the dynastic head Cadmus, here, this is Cadmus, so,
So,
is a brother of Europa. Then the woman Zeus kidnaps while she is a bull. After her kidnapping, her father sends her brothers to look for her. Then, that's the beginning of the story. Then ito na nagkuan adventure. So, Alexis, what are your realizations after learning the story?
that when you have power, when someone has power, you listen to them because they will give you consequences if you don't listen to them.
Yeah, so just like in real life or like in the modern society, if ever that you have you have power, like dili literal na power, like for example in the government, so you need to obey them or else ikiluoy, right? Okay, so that's the end of the story. And I would like to thank you for being my student for today. Thank you, Alexis.
You're very welcome.